How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all psyched, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Mike Hinge. And if you're not familiar with his work, check right over there. He is a phenomenal sci-fi artist. He did book covers and periodicals and just tons of amazing work, and always with this very psychedelic, almost has a bit of Klimt or Albrecht Dürer that I'm thinking of mixed in there as well. Just these really, really cool robots and spaceships that are so intricate, and I love his colors. It's a different style than I usually go with color. I usually like more muted colors and everything, but I think it works so well with kind of that 60s to early 80s sci-fi motif that he's got throughout all of his work, and a wonderful draftsman as well. There's some, I believe these were some G.I. Joe concepts that he did as well, and oh, sorry about that, his phone going off. Just, they're so fun. There's these great colors, these splashes of color throughout there, and a really great composition and everything. Gorgeous artist. I hope you guys get a chance to check out some more stuff from him. I'll throw some links down in the description below, because I think he is just a phenomenal talent, and I don't hear hardly anyone ever talking about Mike Hinge, and I think he deserves some extra study for any of you who love illustration or animation or visual artistry. I think he's just phenomenal. I mean, check out this piece. This is so cool. All these, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine down here that he has on top with these great characters, really great silhouettes, nice bit of personality throughout there. Just a wonderful artist. But I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him. And he said, "Consider myself a conceptualizer with a need to visualize ideas." That really resonates with me. I have tons of stuff going on up here that I think would turn out, that I want to see come to life. You know, it's kind of the root of being an animator, is you want to see things come to life. You want to see things move. You want to see things be visualized. I think the difficulty in that journey is trying to go from the original idea, process it through your brain and through your worldview and your perspective and all the things that you've learned so far, and then get it through your muscles into whatever medium it is that you're using, and then to out in the world, and trying to keep that as clear and as flowing as you can from that original idea, that original concept. I know I when I wake up in the morning, I have these ideas that I just want to work on for the day. And it's a need. It's a, you know, I have this, like, I want to see this idea come to life. And sometimes, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys, because this is, try to make this as open as you can. You can see the failures, you can see the successes. A lot of times it's difficult. I was just actually working on another project earlier, and it turned out okay, but it wasn't the way that I was necessarily hoping that it would turn out. And sometimes you have to be okay with that too. And especially with like happy accidents, those are always fun too. But sometimes it's difficult because the way that you visualize it, versus whether it's just because of the medium itself or the skill level you're at, or whatever, maybe the stress level that you're at while you're working on it, or whatever, that can affect that stuff. And I think for myself, those days are more difficult, or those projects are more difficult. But, you know, the main goal of these videos each and every day is to hopefully encourage you guys and inspire you to continue to work on your own dreams, and to take another step in your journey, and to overcome those obstacles and learn from those mistakes or those frustrations. This is that quote that we had the other day, something to the effect of, if you are not struggling, you're not learning, or something like that. So let's go ahead and get into some animation. We're continuing working on our little beast run shot using the Wolfdog from Creative Crash and the Goon rig from How to Cheat in Maya. As always, there will be links in the description below if you guys want to check these rigs out for yourself. And we're also using Maya 2014 for today's video. And for more information on all the stuff that we've mentioned so far, gotta clean up this right there. That knee's gonna pop out there. I want to make sure you get in and redo that too. We just have the meat and potatoes really down so far. So today's going to be about mixing stuff up and adding a little bit more intrigue to everything. So I'm thinking right now will mainly be the feet and the head is what I want to do, and maybe some of the tail if we have time to do that, just so that we have something so that everything's not hitting on the same frame and we had a little more overlap and a little more interest in everything. So I think that's the main goal of how we'll be approaching our stuff for today. So let's go ahead and get in there. Turn our NURB curves on. Turn everything off except for our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and our polygons as well. And let's go just real quick before we hit anything else up, because there was for some reason that knee right there, it's a little bit too far out. Maybe we'll just move it forward there. Just trying to avoid same here. Let's bring that in. Because we wanted to make that frame look a little better, right? That's probably why we had that out. Okay, because it looks fine there. I mean, not fine, but it's okay. Try to get it out a little bit more here. That's no good. Same here. Those knees. Keep them pushed a little bit further, a little bit more down there. Get rid of that one. Just see if we can. Might be because of this tail too. Let's see if this will clean that up for us a little bit. We'll get in there more and do everything on ones once. I'm not going to worry too much about the knees right now when we still have a bunch to do with the hips and everything else. So let's start off with just looking at the front portion of the body here. Let's just look where we have our keys here. Go a little bit lower here. There, just so we have a little bit of drag. And what frame did we do that on? About there, right? A little bit lower there. And a little bit higher here. There. Higher there. Does that seem so long? Well, it's fine. let's go a little bit lower there. And a little bit higher here. A little bit lower there. And a little bit lower here, right? A little bit higher there. Push that one frame sooner. Try and get it back into around the same range that we had before. And a little bit lower there. Higher here. And lower there. Alright, something a little more like that. Work a little bit better for us. And now let's look at the feet here. Let's zero out the rotate and zero out the plant there. That's fine. And we'll hold that for another frame. Again, hold that for another frame. So really get those feet planted on the ground there. I think for this one we might push them forward a little bit more here. Set that one, delete that. Let's see, we just want to get it on the edge here. This for one more frame there. And let's go set that one. I'll go ahead and delete this and delete that one. Should still be a little more like this, with maybe a little more up, a little bit of rotate there. this still needs to be a little bit more up and forward here. Okay. Yeah, let's look at both of those. They're planted here. That's fine. It's a little quick, but and again we want to hold them so they're planted down at least for one more frame. Help just get that feeling that they're landing on the ground there. Okay, let's do a little plate blast and just see how that looks a little bit more. Okay, it's a little bit better. Let's take a look at those back feet, and then we'll start switching the posing a little bit more on there too. So, got that. And let's push that. Just so that we can have those 2 frames of hold there. Could probably do a little bit of, would this be paw tilt maybe? Paw roll. There we go. Zero out all these other ones here. And bring that down. And then do a little bit of paw roll again. And bring that down. And here we'd have our paw roll. And bring that back down. And do some paw roll there. And let's go ahead and move them over and up a little bit. There we go. And we'll go ahead and set what we have there. This one will do that little bit of paw roll here. And maybe we'll push this one back a little bit and let this one go off a teeny bit here. Why does that look funny there? It's like change shape there. Oh well, we can go with that. And let's go ahead and grab this one here, and we'll make it a little bit lower and over. here. Up there. Bring this one down a little bit more. And up a little bit. Just do the paw rule here. Just so there's a little bit of variation in how each of these back feet land here. And this one, let's take that rotate. Or maybe it's the knee here. Let's take one step back on this one. Try and get a little better silhouette there. Okay, we'll go back to just looking at the feet again. And do a little bit of paw roll. Set them down a little bit sooner, and do that paw roll up a little bit there. And bring that back here, and paw roll up a little bit more there, and leave it. Alright, and let's do another play blast and just see how those feet are looking here again. Alright, it's okay. Still probably a little too much rotation, I think, in the back end, but we'll see. We'll see here. Let's go ahead and look here at the rotate X. Just think we could probably tone it down a little bit more overall. It's okay. I think we could do a little bit better here. Okay. And let's look at this back end here. I feel like it should still be. Let's just look at this. Not necessarily the tail here. Actually, just for right now, let's try zeroing this thing out and just add some in there later if we want, and just look at the tail. I know, I wanted to get rid of all that, but it's alright. So, let's keep the tail up here. And it would hit down probably about there, right? And then hit up again here. And down there. And we'll just see what's my up kind of right after that. Here. Down there. So it could be our just up here. Down there. Don't necessarily want to do it exactly the same every time here too. Have a little bit of variation there. Down there. Up here. And it should be down here. Delete that one. Really have to tweak that, I'm sure, because that's not that pretty from this angle. But we'll get into doing that a little bit more. Keep it down there. And let it go up about here. Keep it down there. And whip it down there. Up there. Down here. Up there. Down here. Up there. We'll go down a little bit more. Alright, and let's do a play blast of that and see how that feels for our tail here. Again, it's just the base of the tail. It feels a little too much and maybe a little too soon, so delay it a frame. So let's grab it here and just tone it down a little bit more overall. Just feels a little too exaggerated, and especially if we're going to end up throwing a bunch more stuff in there too for it. Like breaking the tail down more than just one segment that's animated here. And again, like you said, let's delay it a frame here too. And let's go and watch that again. Alright, it's an okay place to start for the tail, so let's start breaking it down a little bit more here. Maybe I should exaggerate the head a little bit more. For this front part of the chest a little bit more, so you can get a little more variation there. Let's try that here. Okay, I think that feels a little better. We can offset it in the head a little bit here though. Before I get too far though, let's start playing with the positions of some of these here. So this one could be a little bit lower and a little bit further back here. And this one may be a little bit higher, a little bit further out. This one could be a little bit back, just so there's some more variation in our posing here. Up. Maybe here we could take and translate Z back a little bit more there. just so it's not always being led and followed in the same fashion here. And same there, we'll pull that one back a little bit more. And just tweak it ever so slightly, just so we're getting some different posing out of there. I think here we might need to go a little bit further over in our translate Z. Just a little bit more. Back just a little bit. Just trying to get out of that hyperextension. Delete this one. Doesn't look as good there either, so let's rotate that one up a little bit more. Okay, and in this case too, let's go ahead and drag that one back a little bit more. So we got a little bit more, variation in our posing here too. Try and push that one a little bit further there. Let's leave that one. So again, so we have some more variation in our posing there. Rotate that up a little bit more. That one, rotate it there. This one up over here. Okay, let's play blast that and see if that's helping us look a little more variety in our run here. All right, it's starting to look a little more less robotic. It's probably not correct English to say that, but a little bit less robotic would be the correct way. Okay, let's look at the back feet then as well. And just try and change up the posing, and when they land a little bit more, change up the spacing and the posing a little bit. And timing we're going to probably keep pretty tight here. Z here. We'll push this one back a little bit. There, we'll go ahead and kick the far one up a little bit more. And rotate it up a little bit. Got a little bit of paw or toe bend there. I'll add a little bit of toe bend here too. I don't think I did that on this one either. I wanted to do that. And let's take this one, we'll move it back just a little bit. Again, just so each step doesn't look the same as the last one here. So I'll push this one up, rotate it back a little bit, maybe inward, do a little bit of toe bend here, and there as well. And in this case, let's take this foot and we'll push it forward a little bit more. Just want to touch each and every one just so they're all unique little snowflakes for each and every step there, so they're not we kind of, you know, we did this just to build in our timing and our basics from before, but now we want to add that little bit of variety, that little bit of personality to everything here, and especially with not really being able to play with our timing too much per step, which I might do a little bit of here and there, but I want to kind of keep it pretty close to what we have now. This might be a little too stretched on this foot here. And I feel like this is a little too broken on those steps here, so we'll set those ones. And we'll set this. Some of those rotates are a little too broken here. So let's scale those back here. Still want to keep them looking like dog legs, right? Right. Okay. Again, where do we like them again here? Right about there, that was fine. Just need to go up a little bit more with them and maybe back a little bit. I'm going to delete that one. Let's look at our translate Y's here. Go ahead and delete that. Let's leave that maybe a little bit higher. And look at our translate Z's. We'll go a little bit over maybe. A little bit higher here. Okay, we'll take that paw roll, or let's figure that out. Toe bend. We'll drag those toes back there. Try and get a little bit of that in there. too stretched as well. See, like right there, it's just a little too stretched on those steps. So let's bring them in a little bit more. It's not the knee, is it? I don't think it is in this case. Maybe we'll just bring them in even more. Guess we could just key that one individually. It's okay. I just wanted to try and avoid kind of that frame where we got that. I think we just made those steps maybe a little too big. So we'll grab these, bring them in, up, and rotate them back a little bit more. Get those toe bends back there. Just made these steps a little too big here, but that's okay. We'll just add a little more variety here in our feet. And add a little more rotate. In a little bit more. Why is that knee all junky? And make sure we get that little bit clear silhouette between those two. Drag that toe back, and that toe there. Okay. And let's go ahead and watch that and see if that starts adding a little more variety to our run there. And we start off about here. Alright. Should we do a little bit on the head, or should we have a little bit of time left? Maybe we'll finish up with that tail, or at least get a little bit further in that tail here. So let's go with the middle three here. Set all those there, and this would probably be where hits her down. Where would it be here? This is probably the furthest up here, and then down there. Here. Still be a little more down. This one would be curved in, and then down there. Up here. Down there. And this is probably a little too over the top too, but we can always tone it down. Down there. Up here. And back down. Okay. And again, we'll probably, before I get too far, I'm probably just going to tone it all down. Kind of even it out a little bit more here too. Alright, and let's see how that feels throughout here. Okay, it's a little too fast and too over the top, but it's getting there. Just gotta pull it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do the tip of the tail. So, what do we do? Do one on this one. It's just these two last parts, right? This would be about right here, where it'd still be up. And probably down there. Sooner. Right where the feet first plant, I think, is where we want to bring it back. Right where it starts to launch off and where it touches. Okay. So up here, down there, up there, down there, up here. Tweak that so that it doesn't intersect through that plane. I think it would still be dragging, right? Still be dragging here. see how that plays out. Again, I'm sure it's still going to be pretty rough, but it'll get there, it'll get there. Alright, I think we need less on the base, more on the mid of that tail here. Let's look at the root of the tail here, and I don't think we ever did anything on this one, so let's I think we need this one to have some movement in there as well. So let's just go through again. Key selected, key selected, key selected. Just trying to get that timing working again here. Should have done some on this, on both parts of the tail at the beginning, but that's okay. We'll go back there and add it, because otherwise we'll have that kind of dead spot of movement in the tail if we don't get this working here. So let's try and do that real quick. We still have a little bit of time together for today, so let's try and just finish up on this tail here. See, it just keeps the integrity of how that tail geometry works as well. So we can add that little bit of thickness back in there. So that's great. And again, the main thing that we want to do is tone down this movement. So we'll grab both of these controllers and tweak them here in a minute. Let's take all of that stuff and we'll scale it back down a bit more. And let's take everything on this base here and we'll scale it back a little bit as well. Alright, and I think the other thing I wanted to do was take the middle sections, which would be these three, and amp them up a little bit more. Let's get a little more of that breakage in there. Alright, so let's take a look at how that turned out here for us. It's still way too over the top, so let's scale it back on both the middle sections and the root here. So let's take these, really crank those down quite a bit. About half of what we have right now. It's just too over the top. All right, let's play blast that now. I mean, it's all right, but I think one thing we might do is crank up the controller right before the tip of the tail, which would be this one in particular. So we just amp that up a bit more. And maybe this guy as well, but not as much, so we have a little bit of kind of diminishing movement throughout the tail. So this one has the least amount of movement. This one has a little bit more, and that one has a bit more. Let's see it. All right, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what we had before. Still have a lot to do to break this up, but remember we're looking at 80 frames of a run, which is pretty much everything on ones with a quadruped. So it's going to take us a little while to get there for sure. And this isn't a cycle or anything. We're punching all this stuff in, so we got a lot to still break through. But it's starting to feel a little less mechanical. So that's a good way to go. Let's change back to our original perspective that we want to go with, and we'll turn our nerd curves off here. And let's do a play blast, and we'll wrap up for today. Can't believe time already flew by. So yeah. Alright, it still needs a lot. I think I might pull the gait of the back feet in a little bit more here too. Feel like they're a little too widespread. And also we're probably going to need to retime some of those front steps a little bit so that there's every once in a while that they're not hitting exactly on the same frame. Just kind of stutter step them a little bit so there's more of a tap kind of a feel to those feet, where the left foot lands then the right foot, or the right foot then the left foot, so it's a little less, but we only really have a couple of frames, so it's going to be difficult. I thought just doing some of the posing and spacing might break that up a bit more, but I think still we need to do some stuff with the neck and the head, because that hasn't really done anything, and we amped up the chest, which is good, but it just accentuated that there's not a lot of movement in the neck and the head, or I don't think we keyed really anything in there yet, so that'll probably help us out here as we go as well. But we still have a long way to go with this one. It's coming together though. We're getting the necessary stuff in there and building upon what we did each and every day. So we started off looking at the beautiful work of Mike Hinge, and he said, "Consider myself a conceptualizer." Conceptualizer, that's a fun word to say. Consider myself a conceptualizer with a need to visualize ideas. I think everybody, I think a lot of us have ideas, and it's just about getting the desire and the knowledge and the fortitude and the stick-to-itiveness to make those ideas come to life. And that's my goal with doing these videos each and every day. I never claim that I know that I'm a master at anything, just here to help encourage you guys to take another step in your own journey, to carve out some time to work on your own dreams, and maybe learn something different through these videos together, whether it's something not to do or something to do, or sparks a new idea, or we look at some work that excites you and gets you motivated to work on your own stuff. I really just want to impart to you that if you're watching this, you are the creative future. If you don't stand up and visualize your own dreams, someone else will do theirs, and theirs might be popular, and yours might have been a better idea, and the idea that could change the world, or could spark the next Beethoven or Mozart or milk call or whatever medium it is that you're into. So take a chance, take that courage. I'm happy to give you thumbs up and encouragement. Please throw your links down below if you guys are working on stuff. I want to see what you're coming up with, and just have fun and grow and learn together with you each and every day. So thanks for all the likes and subscribes. I think you guys are amazing. I can't wait to see the great stuff you come up with. There's a great quote that I heard the other day that was, the goal of the student is to surpass the teacher, or something in that regard, is that you take the knowledge that you have and that you learn from everyone, and try to learn from as many sources as you can, and group that all together using your own perspective and make it better than anyone else has before. That's the goal, you know. So I try to do that. I still have a long way to go, and you guys, if you're watching me, chances are you're 10,000 times better than I am, and I can't wait to see the creative, amazing stuff you guys come up with. So I'm getting rambly. I love you guys lots. Thanks for carving out some time in your day to share with me. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you had some fun along the way. Learned something, or at least got inspired to go create your own stuff. So you guys are awesome, and as soon as I can find that button, we will see you for some more animation, some more imagination, some more creativity, and learning and growing together tomorrow.